Hello everyone, welcome to my live stream. My name is Denise Mika Hutchins and I'm broadcasting to you from Studio Mikarts. It's Wednesday, which means it's time for a Lucky Dip. Before I explain that though, I realize I probably have all of my little volume things turned up, so I just turned down my phone. Let me make sure my PC volume is off. Nope, that's still up super high. It's usually not a problem, but just in case. Okay, so Lucky Dip. What I do for my Lucky Dips is I have a spreadsheet with all my random art supplies on it, and then I go to random.org, generate 4 numbers, and then those numbers indicate which items on the spreadsheet that I'll use. So I've got all my items here. I actually need one more thing. My photo reference book. So as for what I actually draw with those Lucky Dip items, I've been going through my, not sketchbook, my pose reference books. They have, there's all kinds of books like this, and I have so many of them because they're so cool, and I never used them for anything. I just spent all this money on these cool reference books, never used them. So I'm using them in the Lucky Dips. So that's what I will be drawing, the image I'll be drawing. So let me introduce the items that I got today. It's pretty exciting. I got a couple things that I don't think, I can't really, it's either been a long time or I've never gotten them before. I'll just go in order of how they came up though. The first one, I use this one all the time, especially on Chibi Friday. I used this on last Chibi Friday. I keep this one in my regular drawing kit. It's the Uniball Sino gel pen. It's white, and this is the, let's see, this means wide letters, so I don't know how to actually read these together, but broad in English is a broad nib. It doesn't have an actual, like, a lot of pens like this have a millimeter description, but this just says, okay, hold on. I can just look it up. I can look up how, what this is. Okay, so I'll just write it. So this means like wide or fat. And then this one means letter in Japanese. Oops, I think that's supposed to be 2 strokes here. 1, 2, 3. There. How do you read this? Futoji. Oh, Exie, hello! Hello, Exie! How are you? Hope you're doing well. Great to see you again. Since yesterday. Here's just what I was looking up. Will it focus? Okay, if I lower it down. Futoji. So, that's the size of this. Futoji is the size of this. This is the first item. Okay, second item. Kind of funny because it's a similar thing but a different media, is a white charcoal pencil from Generals. You can't see anymore. I obviously have used this quite a bit. I love to use, so I use these a lot in my drawing classes in university, but even outside of that, when I want to do just sketching practice, I love taking toned paper, a black charcoal pencil, and a white charcoal pencil, and then just drawing what I see from life, and that's why this pencil is so tiny, and I'll probably actually need to sharpen it because it's getting really close to the wood right here. So that's the second item. The third item, this is one of the ones that either I've never gotten this on a Lucky Dip or it has been a long time. It's Faber-Castell Albrecht Dürer watercolor markers. They're double-ended, and the 2 colors, because I received these together so they count as one item. The 2 colors is Indanthrine blue, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, and dark chrome yellow. So they both have, I'll just show one, they both have a brush tip, a nice big brush tip, and then on the other side a bullet tip. And also fairly big. And they're watercolors, so I have also this item that I got myself that is to accompany those, a water-filled water brush, so that I can actually use these to their full extent. Oh, good. Yeah, it's so late for you. No wonder you're sleepy. It's always so late for you. Oh, you're welcome. How am I doing? Yes, I am good too. Today is awesome. I wish it was snowing. I would much prefer snow, but a day where it's foggy all day. That is a very unusual weather here, so I am super excited because I love that kind of weather. I love the kind of weather that everybody else seems to hate, but it's just so, I love the diffuse light and the mysterious look of the whole world, and the way lights look in the distance. And then you can see, I took some pictures when I went on my walk this morning of like geese and duck flying through the fog. And so, yeah, I am in an excellent mood. I'm actually, like, I'm looking out my window right now at the awesome foggy day, and it's just like, usually if we get fog, it clears up by the time the sun has been up for maybe an hour, but nope, this is fog all day long. It's so weird and awesome. So yeah, I'm doing great. Thank you. What was the last thing? I actually had to Google this because, again, I think this is either something I've never gotten for a Lucky Dip, or it's been so long I could not remember what this looked like. So it's a Sakura Pigma. What I'm used to when it says Sakura Pigma are these. And this is the Sakura. So Sakura is the brand, Pigma is like the line, and then Micron is like, I don't know, the sub thing, because there's Micron and then there's graphic. So I was like, what is this one? This one, oh sorry, let me put these back real quick. I always have those available because they're my favorite. This is the Pigma MB, and it doesn't say on the pen, but what I had written down was professional brush pen. So yeah, I Googled it because I couldn't find it. I was like, what is it supposed to be? And then as soon as I saw the picture, I was like, oh yeah, I remember this one. So it has a nice, also a fairly big brush tip on this one too. And I love getting so many, I never noticed. Look, it has like gold. It says MB on the lid, and it's golden. That's cool, I never noticed that before. But there's a lot of brush stuff. Half the stuff is brush stuff, so that's fun. So, with the watercolor in particular, I got my watercolor sketchbook out, the one that is super cute, but I was smack talking it because the paper is not the best, and yet I'm just going to go ahead and use it because I'm too lazy to get another one yet. So, plus, I mean, not just lazy, let's save some money. So that's another thing, like, I don't have like a whole bunch of extra money to just throw around just because it's pilling, especially for little practice drawings like this. This page is always sticking to itself because it's acrylic paint. Anyway, it's actually not been that bad. There's only been a few times when I'm like, oh wow, it's really pilling, but once it dries, it's actually, the paper goes back to being smooth. It's kind of weird. So yeah, I've been using this, and this is what I'm going to use for this Lucky Dip. Let me rearrange my stuff so it's definitely visible. The first thing I'm going to do, what I usually do, is swatch all these items. So let me put my little sticky note here. Whoop. Oh, and I didn't mention it, but this is the last Lucky Dip of the year, and it might actually be the last Lucky Dip for a while because I have a big idea for my live streaming next year, and I'm at least going to try it for as long as I can. Try it for the whole year, I think. And so this might be the last Lucky Dip for a while. What I'm coming over here, if my voice sounds different, which it probably does, I'm getting a pencil sharpener. Let's see. Haha. Like this one. This is the same brand as this pencil, so it feels good to use the same brand, General's pencil sharpener, with the General's sharp pencil. So I'm just gonna sharpen this a bit. Oh, yeah, it broke off. That's another reason I think this is so short, is because it's a very delicate core. Okay. There. I got the bit that broke off in there, I got it out of the sharpener. So let me sharpen some more. I'm just going to sharpen it over the trash can. So I'm going to have to dump it in there anyway, so. How's that? Oh, that's much better. Okay. Yay! Much sharper, and the wood is not like right up by the top on any point. It's getting so tiny! But it's cool. I have this thing that when your pencil gets super short, you can put it in this pencil holder, and so it makes it like normal pencil size so that you can use it to the very last tiny stub. What's this dog? It looks kind of like Chappie. Bongo Ziggs. It actually looks like Chappie. It says it's Chappie playing the bongos. I guess it's Ziggs playing the bongos, but it looks like her. Kind of. I guess she got a longer nose than that puppy. It's funny. Okay. Let's do this. Okay, I don't need my reference book yet. Time to swatch. So I think because the charcoal white's not going to work until I get these colors down, and these are watercolors, so they need a little time to dry, I'm going to do these first. And I'll do 4 swatches each. 1 dry swatch of each end, and then 1 swatch where I put the water brush on it. And these are actually quite nice. Wow, the bullet tip is distinctly darker. I wonder if it's because the color has been concentrating in there, but wow, it's almost like a different color. Well, there's the dry ones. That's what it looks like if you just use it dry. What is this? The brush tip is not as flexible as other ones I've used, but it's still nice. Okay. So I've got these, and now let's put a little water on and see what that looks like. So it does not move as much as I would expect for something that's called a watercolor marker. It's not necessarily a bad thing, it's just something to keep in mind. There goes the paper pilling up. This freaking paper. This one's doing better. So maybe the brush side is actually a little dry. It's not having dry brush effects, but this one is actually spreading better. So it seems like if I want to get some color fill or something, I should use the bullet tip on this one. And I don't know if that's just how this brand of markers is, this brand and line of markers, or if it's just this particular one. Ah, the freaking paper's pilling up again. There's little bits coming off. Oh well. Next one. This is a yellow. And side. This is actually the opposite thing is happening here. The brush tip is darker on the yellow one. And in fact, the brush is so juicy that it's actually leaving little bits on the cap. Okay. So I wonder if we're going to have the opposite from here, where with the blue one, it didn't spread very well on the lighter blue, and the dark blue spread better. So let's see. I actually need a paper towel because there's a little bit of blue paint still stuck on the tip there. Boom. My faithful use it a million times before I finally throw it away towel. Yeah. Let's just swipe that pigment out of the tip. Excellent. Okay, so let's try this. Well, again, not really. The brush end is not really moving very much. It's definitely doing something, but especially with this weaky paper, I don't want to have to work it too much. Oh yeah, and it's actually even less responsive. So it is as I thought. The lighter it is, the less pigment is coming out. So this one it's barely moving the pigment around at all. Well, that's good to know that I will not be able to get any really, really watercolory effects, except for maybe this blue here. So probably I'll be using these markers more for filling in if I use them like that. So that's good to know. I do like how they look dry on the paper, especially, let's see if I can get it to focus good, this close. Especially like this blue here brings out the texture of the paper really nicely, I think. I don't know. The yellow's kind of a little bright to show it. Okay, so these two colors actually look really nice together. It's so crazy. Well, you saw me do it. These are from the same marker, but the brush is like orange and the bullet tip is yellow. The bullet tip is actually more what you'd expect based on the cap color. Very interesting. Okay, well, since they're not working that well as watercolors, for the sake of the charcoal swatching, I'm just going to make a couple of swatches without adding any water. And then I will use the marker, or use the charcoal on top of those. But I'll give them a second to dry first. So let's try the Pigma MB. It's a brush pen as well. Black ink. It's pretty nice. And it has, it's interesting, it does not seem to be made with bristles, but it has a bristly effect. And you can get some pretty big lines if you really press hard. So this is you can't get very small lines. This is about as small as I can get. But that's a pretty nice variety of line weights. And then, of course, we know how well this one works. Oh, I know. But I'm gonna swatch it anyway. That's what I'm gonna say. I didn't finish my thought. I know exactly how well this one works, but I'm gonna swatch it anyway. But let me make a little square-ish shape with the black ink too. Oh, this actually look really nice together, these three colors. Orange, blue, and black. It's like a shonen anime standard color scheme. It's Goku from Dragon Ball Z. Sarah's black, blue, orange. That's funny. Okay, I'm gonna get a drink. Just got my shaker bottle with my remnants of my green lunch smoothie with, I just filled it with mineral water. Okay. These are still a little bit damp, surprisingly. Though I guess not surprisingly, because this year I've sort of found out that any watercolor marker, even if you don't put water on it, tends to dry slower, which makes sense because it's watercolor, so the medium is water. So let's do this one first, because you can use the white charcoal on wet media, that's possible, but it really uses it up really fast, and I don't think there's much benefit to using it that way. I'd rather use it dry. So let's do the Sino, what is this? Uniball Sino, that's what it's called. This does have, so when making lines, this does have this issue that I've noticed always. I'll try to show you So if you try to do a really long line, the ball itself for the ball pen makes this little line in the middle where the ink sort of gets parted by the ball. So that's just something to work around if that's not what you want. So what I usually do, if I don't want that, is draw on top of it again and just do a little like mixture of tapping and swiping motion. But it's not 100%. It won't always fix it, but so I don't think that it's that great for really long lines of white, but here's an example of how you might work the pen to get a more solid white line, and that's the result of me like tapping and swiping and just trying to fill in the gaps. I think what this works best for is like little dots. Yeah. And you still gotta sort of like move the pen around a little bit to get the ink flowing. But once it's flowing, you can go pew, 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 and you do all these little dots. Sometimes even though you're being careful, it still does that little thing where the ball leaves a mark in the middle. So you gotta like wiggle it around a little bit. And if it leaves a blank space in the middle, just keep tapping it until it fills it entirely the way you want. And I don't think it's just this brand. That's something that I've noticed with all the white gel pens, that they tend to do that. But here's this. Yeah, I think it's much better doing little dots or just super short lines of white ink. It looks really good on all three of these colors, though. Shows up really nicely on all of them. Because thanks to, I think that if it was this color for the brush tip, it wouldn't show up as nicely, but for some reason it's a super dark orange on the brush tip on that one. Okay. Yeah, these feel dry now. So let's do a little charcoal. So actually this is a great combination because the charcoal is much better as long as you don't mind the texture of the paper showing through, which of course I don't mind. That's why I love physical media. I enjoy digital media too, but physical media is definitely my favorite. It's just like, wow, it looks so cool. It looks like just like some cool design, not swatching, but yeah, the coverage is almost as good as the ink as far as how opaque the white is. And then it's really easy to lay down. You don't have to work very hard. You have to actually work harder for the ink to get the coverage, the same amount of coverage. So that's cool. It's going to work really nicely. This group of items is going to work very nicely together, I think. Oh, good. Yeah. All these things are really... It's crazy. These are a very wide range of items. I am thinking about it because the highest number I got is 256. I think the highest number I have on my spreadsheet right now is 332. So 256 is pretty close to the end of the spreadsheet. But then the earliest number I have is 4. So we've got this wide variety of items based on when I received them. Okay, the last pose we did was this one. So we're going to do this one today. It's kind of small, but I like the idea of doing just this little section here. I love these. Wish I had a magnifying glass. There was someone at the Inktober retreat 2 years ago, the one that I went to, that had this light that is a magnifying glass. It was like a magnifying glass with a ring light around it. That would be cool to have right now to see these hands in more detail. But I think I'm just going to do my best because that's such a... Let's see if I can show it closely to you. The hands are so dynamic. Oh, it doesn't want to focus. Come on, camera, work with me. There we go. The hands are so dynamic. Those two fingers sticking up. The other fingers still look really active on both hands. Yeah. Okay. Clipping my book open. And on the bottom. And I bet I need, like usual, my little paint can to hold it open. It's actually not too bad though. But it would be good just to... Oh, that's actually good. Okay. So I'm going to scoot it over a little bit for the camera. Though I guess it would be good if it wasn't flopping around so much. Anytime anything moves, it flops. I was able to reach it without getting up. And my nice paint can. Just like house paint. Interior house paint. Yeah. There, that's better. Not flopping around so much. So just see what I can do with this little tiny section right here. Okay. And let me situate myself differently. Okay, so this is actually going to be kind of... Well, this is going to be interesting because I like to have a sketching item. Maybe I can sketch with the yellow. Yeah, because that's the lightest color. Oh, you can't see it because of the chat box. Oh, I threw the pen. I was just holding it so gently. It flew right out. Yeah. Chat box is covering it. This yellow is so light. Let's do this basic sketch with that. Okay, this side. And then that's nice because I can use both ends probably of this. This is making me think, look how easily this caps. And I know it's not very positive, but I complained in the past about this one pen that doesn't cap. You have to like flip it around to cap it. There's no excuse. No excuse for that. Look at this one. It looks so cool how it goes a little big and then a little big again. Like, this is a very aesthetically pleasing tool to use. It looks like a rocket ship. Like, okay. So I want to try to fit the entirety of both hands in here. So I'm going to mark about where I want. So the end of the middle finger on this hand is the highest up bit of that hand. And then about the wrist, like right here. And that's about how long I want that to be. And I'm not going to be like all super precise or anything, but I just want to give myself some guides so that I can fit everything in and keep a general sense of proportion. Okay, so this length from the wrist to the first knuckle of the thumb is almost as long as from one side of the wrist to the other, but not quite. So we'll just put that right there. And then trying to also capture the same angles that I'm seeing. It's kind of like a lightning bolt shape right here. And then pinky finger you can barely see. And ring finger is a little higher. And then here's that middle finger, and there's a lot of space between the middle and the index finger. Like that. And the index finger is not quite as long. At least for this angle. And then like the, I don't know, the main part of the hand, I don't know what you call this section from here to here, angles out a little bit. It's not straight down. It curves up for to be the thumb. And then we have the, what was this called? Tsuka? I think the handguard was called Tsuka. I've I've got my reference books over there. If it really bothers me, I'll get it out again. I don't think I need to, but Tsuba is the hand guard. Tsuka is the grip, I think. Handle, the grip. Okay. And this part where the handle holds onto the blade and then the blade coming out like this. Boom. Okay. Yeah, I love this part right here because it's almost like this hand is just floating. It's not gripping the sword very hard. It's not like pinching it like this. It's just resting, ready to I don't know what the term is for this, but I love that. My eyes were instantly drawn to this pose right here. Okay, so now we have another hand to add. I guess I'll add this curve of the sleeve. That pretty much finishes off this arm. Except for details, but yeah. Okay, so since it's just a sketch, I'm going to actually sketch the handle first so that I can place this other hand on top of the handle so it'll be the right position compared to where this hand is. Alright. So we've got this thumb is pushing up against the tsuka. And you can't really see where the wrist is or anything, so actually I think I need to make this thumb bigger or something. It's the sleeve. The sleeve should be higher up, I think. Okay. There. And then this part of the hand, like the butt of the hand, is actually sticking out from the back of the sword. It has a bit of an angle as it's turning down into the arm. Okay, and then the very end of the sword is almost completely covered by these 3 fingers. And the last pinky finger. Boom. And then this finger, the index finger on this other hand, is up. So even though this hand is gripping a lot harder, it's still not like a death grip. It's this nice, light, ready for action kind of thing. Ready for action. It's right in the middle of the action here. Okay. There. Sweet. Let's put the... Oh, wait, you know what? Let me check something. Sweet, sweet, sweet. The ink does not seem to be disturbed by the watercolor. So awesome. Oh, let's test the water though. Sweet. Wow. This is a good pen if you want to use it for inking before watercoloring. Like maybe the ink moved a tiny bit when I added this water here, but it's hard to tell while it's still wet because the water just naturally makes the paper darker. Okay, and this is nice. It's always so nice to be able to do an undersketch because then if you see something you don't quite like or you want to change, you can do so. So like the tsuba here, I want to draw it so that it looks flat. Right now it looks like it's curving upwards. There. Actually, let's add more I mean, it's so small that I'm just using my imagination, but I'm sure that it's not a flat item. It's going to have some thickness, so I'm going to add that thickness there. Alright, sweet. Fingers. I'm trying to get a little bit of the brush effect from this brush pen. But it's really easy to just make a really thick line. It's a little too soft for what I'm used to or what my hand wants to do, but it's still getting some nice, interesting lines in it. It's actually really fun to have the yellow appearing underneath it. The yellow still visible. I'm going to be adding some more anatomical features like you can see the bones on the back of the hand and stuff just like this. Something I found with the kind of drawing I want to do is it's good not to do too much. Because if you add a little too much detail, especially on hands and faces, then it can make them look older than you intend. So I think since a lot of it's based on animation, and animation is very frugal with its lines just because it takes a long time to animate something that's really detailed. So just culturally we're used to animation not having too many lines and only having extra lines when it really wants to make a point to show that this character is a certain age or has scars or, you know, something like that. Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. It's a lot easier to make something that looks like what I want it to when I make it a little teeny tiny vignette. It's teeny tiny spot. That's probably also helping that I've been doing this all year though. There. Neat. Okay. I'm gonna add some little small lines to indicate the fingernails. And yeah, I'm not really seeing like lines for the wrist right here or anything, so because I know that there's I'm trying to show you like these I don't know what this is, tendons probably, those are in there, but I don't see the lines for them, probably because it's pushed out. Yeah, because it's pushed out so much you don't really see them that much. Okay, cool. Now there's these little diamond shapes from the wrapping on the tsuka, so I'm going to add those in, but I'm going to use, I put little bumps here to show the wrappings, and I think that it should be where the bump goes in would be where the diamond appears, I think. Okay. And maybe a little bit of one would show there, perhaps, I don't know. And then I'm not going to draw one here. I think maybe technically it would be visible, but to have two lines so close to each other, it would just make this look like it's a really thick line for some reason, and it would be visually confusing. So little, what is the term? Artistic liberty. Oh, actually, we'll be right back. Okay. If you're still listening, see you when you get back. Okay, so I want to, wait, I'm looking at the wrong one. I want to add some black right here because the back of this blade is reflecting his hair. And it's like totally black. I'm going to not actually do it totally black though. Just do some strokes. But there's still like a little texture or something in there. And then, let's see, what do I want to do? I'm thinking about, do I want to color the Tsuka black or use this really dark blue, or maybe this blue? But the blue is actually the exact color of his kimono here, so maybe just be kind of realistic, put the blue there. Yeah, let's just make it black. Then that helps bring attention to the area that I really want to be looked at, which is the hands gripping the sword. So I'm going to fill the entire sword in as much as possible using the same direction of stroke. It's a small detail, but I think it really helps with the overall look of a piece like this, where if someone does notice the direction of the strokes filling in all of this black, it's very pleasant to see them all parallel or relatively parallel. And I like to make pleasant art, so that's why that kind of thing is important to me. Okay, sweet. Wow! No, we only used 2 things so far. I think it's looking pretty good. So I have a fun idea. So I want to fill in this sleeve with, I'm going to use the brush tip. Even though this darker color is closer to what I see here for the kimono color, the brush tip's going to fill this in way faster. So that's what, I'm just going to go ahead and use the brush tip. Oh, cool. You can see the yellow sketch still underneath. Neat. Okay, so I'm doing these lines in an arc shape to give the impression of the shape of the sleeve as it is in reality, or as it would be in reality, since this doesn't exist anymore. It's just a photograph of something that happened in the past, but giving it a curve helps it look a little 3D. And I'm not going to worry at all about using the water on this because it's just not really. I mean, I don't know if I'll use the water at all, to be honest. This was the best, I don't know if you can see, this was the best example of it moving with the water. So maybe I'll use it on the sword, like on these metal parts that are, so I think this is actually black, but it's nice to have it be separated from the black of the wrapping. Yeah, actually, I think I'll do that. Okay, so let's do that. So I'm going to start at the bottom where the shadows are the heaviest, and then I'm going to do some strokes up like this, and then use the water brush to bring that color up and fill this whole area. And then that way, even though it doesn't really spread as freely as you might want, since I made the strokes the same way I've been doing other stuff, like for instance right here, it actually just looks like part of the, it's just part of the whole drawing. So let's do the same thing here. And then this end cap, which is also metal. At the end cap, the shadow would be coming from the fingers here. And there would just probably be a little area where some light's hitting, and then there's also shadow from being next to the hand right there. Wow, I'm so glad for my last lucky dip for who knows how long. The combination of items is so fun and so pleasant to use. Like, not just what the type of items are, but the colors of them as well. It's working really nicely together. Okay. One more, this Tsuba, and it looks like this edge is actually the darkest part, so I'm just going to fill that all the way in with the blue, but hopefully, I mean, maybe I'll let it go a little light up there as it gets to the top where the light source is. Pull the color up from the bottom up into there. Okay. And then I think I'll just do maybe like this. So I'm going to do a different angle from this part that's already been done so that it will stand out a little bit. And something else with watercolor markers, I found that they work best if you put the water down on top of them as soon as you color in on the page. If you wait too long, sometimes nothing will happen at all because it gets so dry that the pigment is now stuck in place. So that's why instead of doing all of these parts with the marker first and then putting the water on, I put the marker down, put some water on, put the marker down, put the water on. Oh yeah, not bad! And then it sort of marries this to the sleeve here. Dang, I think it's looking really good. The next thing I wanted to do is I'm still thinking about it, but I think I would like to use this yellow in the background, and it'll actually look orange because what I sketched with is the smaller end, the bullet tip, which is, these are extremely different looking colors even though they're all the same marker. So in the background, my idea is to put down the brush tip and fill the background with brush tip. So something else I've learned in my many years of making art is that if you're going to do something that leaves lines like this, then doing them horizontally looks more natural. So long time ago I think I made a sky and I did the lines vertically and I'm like, oh no, it doesn't look right at all. And I learned from that point on, horizontal is the way to go. And this is going to give us a nice big canvas for using those white items too, so that the yellow can still show up, the bullet tip color can still show up, and this, so basically I've used both sides of both of these markers. Oh, Chappie just had a little snoof. Chappie is my small dog. Something that's cool about using horizontal lines all the way across is that even if you use horizontal lines, so for instance right there between the fingers, and they don't exactly match up with these lines over here, that's okay because the overall effect is still generally the same. Alright, gotta be careful. It is pulling the ink a little bit, this black ink. So I'm gonna be careful about that. Okay, now we're coming to the point where I gotta go all the way across the page. Oh, I know I'm gonna be way off the camera here. Sorry about that. So, just working all the way across the page, back and forth. And let's do the top part and finish that off. It's interesting. The tip of this marker seems to carry more pigment in it, so it's getting an interesting gradient effect on each stroke. Each individual stroke is having a gradient effect. So that's cool and interesting. Okay. Ooh, yep, it is pulling the ink a little bit. I'm trying to be careful. Yeah, these colors look so nice together. That's probably why they came together. Although, if they came in an Art Snacks box, I'm pretty sure those were always randomly selected groups or pairs of colors that came. Unless it was like, we give you this kit that you can buy. It comes with these. Oh, welcome! Welcome back! Yay! Oh, I'm glad you like it! Yeah, this marker is amazing. This orange is fabulous. It's like a sunset. This is also cool because it's showing the difference between the negative space and stuff that's just being left the page's color. Ah, it's pulling the ink. But there, done. Boom. Neat. Okay. I'm just looking at what I've got here. And maybe we have 7 minutes left, so I'm thinking about doing a little bit of maybe little swatches of orange here, and then use the yellow, or use the water to, but the ink, oh well, the ink is coming along with it. But using that to make a nice gentle shadow. No, it doesn't really move enough. Well, I tried. Well, I guess I'll do the same thing over here so at least it's consistent. That's too bad. These don't seem to work too well as watercolor markers. They would work better as just regular markers. But now we know. Now we know. That's why Lucky Dips are fun, not just for using up items that don't get used up, but for learning about new tools and in case you do want to use them for something sometime. So yeah, since I did that on other things, I'm just going to add a few more spots on these hands. Just looking for areas where it's particularly shaded. Water keeps flying out of this every time I take the cap off. I'm getting like sprayed with water. I'm glad my book hasn't gotten wet. I take very precious care of my books and don't like them to get little splashes of stuff on them. Okay. I think that's probably pretty good for adding shadows to the hands, so we don't have to do everything. And I have still 2 more items to use in only 4 minutes, so yeah, so let's add, I think I'll use this on these metal parts. I say this, I need to explain myself more thoroughly. Uniball Sino gel pen on the parts that are metal because there wouldn't be too much texture. And the charcoal pencil is definitely going to add texture, so. So the metal parts get the smoother application, though I'm having to do what I said before, which is keep running over the same area to get a smooth application. And I'm putting it specifically on the black lines to really help give it a shiny look. Neat. Maybe a little bit down here too, like it's just catching a little bit of light from this side. And maybe it's just catching some light from somewhere on the back side of here too. And down here, some reflected light perhaps. Shiny! Now, charcoal white. Where am I going to put the charcoal white? I do have this whole background to use it on. Maybe I'll do a sort of vignette effect. Ooh, yes, fun. We're going to do a little vignette effect. Add the white charcoal in the corners. I might add more, but I'm just going to do a sort of basic amount on all four, then see what it looks like. Especially because there's only a couple minutes left. To connect these ones a little bit because it's shorter. Connect those two. If you're hearing little puppy toes, that's Aoife. She's repositioning herself. Oops, got a little. Oh, fun. It looks like a framed photo or something. And it also helps bring the attention more this way because this is kind of a big blank area before. Yeah, I'm tempted to put it on the sleeve, but I really like how it looks just having it almost as the texture almost looks like a lace decoration on the corners. I'm just really adding to the vignette effect by adding more to the corner farther in, really covering it. Oh, we're at time. And I used everything, right? This one, this one. This was bonus. This one, this one, this one. Yes! We're done! Yay! Here's a close-up look! Oh, let's see if it'll focus. Oh, it's so close. Come on, camera. There we go. And you can see the texture. Oh, the color does not look right. The camera does not like these bright orange or bright blue. It really freaks out. But you can see the overall texture and effect. Oh, that's closer. Once the blue came in, it was like, oh, okay. White balance. I'm so confused. The camera is so confused. Oh, and here's the effect of the ink, the white ink on the metallic parts of the sword. Yay! Wow! What a fun final lucky dip for however long it's gonna be. I definitely will not never do a lucky dip again because I still have all this stuff waiting to be used. So I'll come back to them again someday, but this is the last lucky dip 2023 and for who knows how long. So thank you so much for joining me for this, and I will be back on Friday for Chibi Friday. It's my last stream of the year, so I have a little fun idea. Hopefully I can get it done all in one stream. So we'll see. Maybe not, but we'll see. Oh, good. Yay, I'm so glad. Yeah, wow. What a great year. What a great year. One more stream, though. One more stream left to go. So hopefully see you then. But either way, I hope that you have a great rest of your day and a great Thursday. Thank you for watching.